Hey coin collectors, it's DC on the Big D. It's the 1965 US $quarter coin. We have four of them here, and you're going, well, this one down here says 1964 on it. It does say 1964 on it. These coins were made in 1965. More than half of the 64 silver coins were made in 1965. In fact, the 1965 coins, they did not start minting the 1965 coins until at least July of 1965 because they were trying to get rid of all the old silver in the coins. And that's where the weird, valuable 1965 silver quarter story comes from. So when 1965 they started making these quarters, they had a few of the blanks from the silver quarters that got stuck in because they were minting them both in the same year, the 64 silvers and the 65s in the same year. And some of the 65s got put on silver. So it looks a lot like this, but it would, if you tipped it up on the edge, it would look like this one here with the silver in it here, not the one with the copper center. So the difference in the two coins is this one is a copper nickel blend over a copper center, and this one is a 90% silver, 10% copper amalgam, and so this is not separable. But this is also worth, these are also worth about $5 now just in silver value alone. If you do get one of the 1965 that's silver, it can be worth a huge amount of money. There's a great article in the Coin Week website on this. Heritage Auctions has some great examples on their website. In fact, let's take a look at that Heritage Auction example on the Heritage Auction website. So here's an example of that 1965 quarter from the Heritage Auctions website. And you can see Heritage Auctions right there. And if we go down a little bit, you can see this is a 1965 25-cent Washington quarter struck on a silver 25-cent planchet, XF45. So extra fine 45, very, very low quality coin here. And if we look at it, we see that it is much like the one we were looking at from 1965, the used one. But if you get to a value on this, you could be talking about way over $10,000. In fact, they say that they will bring an offer to the owner of this coin if you want to offer essentially $13,950 or more. When you look at this, we know that some have been sold for between $20,000 and $30,000 in better condition than this, but we know that this one, just by itself, may be worth as much as $15,000. And then you look at the back, you see it's just used all the way around. But then when you see this, you see that it is certified on a silver 25-cent planchet. And then if we go to the back, we see that there's one of the certification symbols on the back that's been marked out. But they are out there. You can find them. And if you did find one, a 1965 that was silver on the side, weigh it. And if it's over 6 grams, then you know that you have a silver 1965 quarter worth thousands to tens of thousands. All right, back to our coins. Okay, so we're back, and this is our coin. And notice that one on the Heritage Auction website didn't look that much better than this. It looked a little bit better, but it was worth, $14,000 or $15,000 or more. Now these ones here, because none of them have mint marks on them, you can't tell which mint it was made at. These could have been made at the Denver or the Philadelphia mint. And again, they didn't make these in 1965 until July, and they made these 1965s all the way into 1966. So when you go to value these, what you're going to have to do is just get the best one you can, and that's why these two are here, because these are not the best ones we can, even though they look like they might be. All right, so what's the story on these? Well, these are special mint set coins or special strike coins. And many collectors get these mixed up because they think that this is a really, really good value 1965 quarter, and they say, hey, you look at it, that's got to be worth $20, $30, $40, or $50. Unfortunately, many of these good-looking 1965s came from special mint sets, which were broken up. And one of the ways you can tell is just by how shiny and polished it is. So you see the United States of America at the top, E pluribus unum here, $quarter at the bottom. The eagle, you can see some of the feathers, but not many. Few of the feathers between the eagle's legs. You can see a little bit of definition in these arrows down here. But when you start to see this shine on a 1965 coin, you're almost always going to have a special mint set coin rather than a great version of the 65 quarter. The special mint set coin is probably going to be worth $5 to $7 maximum. Sometimes it's a little bit more, and we'll take a look at those. But let's start with just the regular 1965. So this one, you can see it's pretty worn. How could you tell if this was a silver one? Two different ways. If you weigh it, you'll see that instead of 5.67 grams, it would weigh 6+ grams, 6.1 grams. But you can also tip it up on its side, and if you see any of this copper in here like this, you know this is not going to be the silver version. So at Philly and Denver, they made these coins. The total U.S. production for 1965 quarters is 1.8 billion. So they made as many of them as they could, and they made them as fast as they could. The best ones of these, there is a Mint State 68 of this, in which you can see the feathers, you can see the beak line, you can see all the stuff on it. And the Mint State 68 can be worth as much as $15,500. There is also some double die obverses on here and double die reverses. So there's some doubling on the back in the letters on some of these, and there's some doubling on the front in the letters on some of these, and that gets them up to the $200 to $300 range. As far as the special mint set quarters, these are all going to look really good, and they're all going to be really shiny. They're not going to have great definition in the feathers on the back, but they will have the shine. The special mint sets, they made 2.3 million, and a lot of collectors have taken to breaking up the special mint sets and putting the special mint quarters in there as a regular quarter because they look so much better. But the special mint set quarters, the best possible one you can get is a SS 67 or Special Strike 67. That can be worth as much as $5,000. All right, that's all we have today from Big D Coins. We'd love to have you subscribe to the Big D Coin channel and leave any comments you have in the comment section.